Hey everyone, it's Howard Gearhauser alongside my dad, Dr. G, and I'm also here with my puppy, Leah, I'm sure she'll be running away from me any second now. But in today's episode, we want to talk about something really, really important. This is a non-negotiable in our own lives and in the lives of our health coaching clients, and that is our morning ritual. So these are the protocols that we implement each and every day. This is how we start off the day. We give ourselves some time in the morning to make sure that we're implementing these protocols. So this won't be as long of an episode today, but we'll dive right into this morning ritual. That way you guys can start implementing this as soon as possible. So Dad, can you explain what the morning ritual consists of and what this means and what we're doing with our health coaching clients?
All right. Well, a lot of our recommendations that we use for ourselves and for our health coaching clients are based on, what happened in the natural history of human beings. And if you think about, if you were a hunter-gatherer living out in nature and it's dark, it gets dark and you can't see and you don't have a flashlight and you're groping around and you bump into something, and then a few hours later, you see this slight glow on the horizon. And so your eyes are drawn there. And then maybe 30 minutes later, 45 minutes later, you see this bright light appear on the horizon. And suddenly you can see everything. Oh, wow, look at that. I didn't know that was there. I couldn't see it in the darkness. Well, that's the sunrise. When the sun pokes up over the horizon. So the definition of sunrise is when you see the top portion of the sun come over the horizon. That's the definition of sunrise. Now, if you look at the physics of it, because of the atmosphere and all those different things, when you see that first lobe of the sun coming up, it really is still below the horizon. So it's kind of a reflection, but that's not important. But what we know is ancient civilizations, let's take the Egyptians. The Egyptians, they worship the sun. They had the Sphinx facing the sun on all fours, the Sphinx facing the sun. Other primitive societies in Africa, a lot of the tribes, in the morning, the pre-dawn, where that glow is on the horizon, the whole tribe would get out. And the whole tribe would go to a special place where they could view the horizon. And they would go there, and the entire village would stand there until the sun came up. Now, this was Carl Jung, the psychiatrist that took a trip to primitive tribes in Africa, and he documented this in one of his books. The Navajo Indians, they have the teepee. Well, the teepee is always door is always facing east. So ancient humans, they were into that sunrise. Now, besides the miracle of being able to see, modern science is telling us, wow, that does some amazing things for us that are physical, besides just the joy of being able to see and having this bright light illuminate everything. Today, I think some of the awe of that experience of being able to see everything is gone with our artificial lighting, where we can make it as bright as the sunlight just by flipping a switch. So we kind of lost the awe of the sunrise. But today, I'd like to mention a few things that we know happen in our physiology around this event, the sunrise.
So as you mentioned, the sunrise has been an important part of all of these different ancient civilizations, even civilizations today. They still worship the sunrise. And when you have access to lighting like we have now, and you can just flick the light switch and light's there, we definitely lose the appreciation for what it's like when it's dark all the time, and then you finally get that light coming in so you can go collect food, gather water, whatever it might be. So it used to be a very sacred thing. We've kind of lost our appreciation and the gratitude for the light. When you have an abundance of light, you forget that it wasn't always like that. You had the fire pretty much. So with the sunrise, we want to be able to take advantage of the health benefits. So yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's really peaceful getting up early in the morning, but there's a lot of physiological benefits to viewing the sunrise. Can you elaborate a little bit more on those?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things with the sunrise is that, our eyes, when they view the light of the sun, a lot of things happen inside our eyes and inside our retina. So things happen that have been shown in experiments, so we know these things actually happen inside of us. And what's important to know, because a lot of times doctors don't keep up with the latest science, and you may have heard that in 2017, the Nobel Prize was awarded to 3 American scientists that discovered the really complex mechanism of what's called the circadian rhythm. So the circadian rhythm is related to that sunlight. It's the sun, comes up and it goes down and it comes up again. That's the circadian cycle. And the circadian rhythm, it's been worked out. This fantastic system is this sunlight activates the neurons and the photoreceptors in our eye, and it sends a message to the master clock in our brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And then this master clock then orchestrates gene expression, which when genes express themselves, they make proteins. So there's these clock proteins that control everything that happens. So we know that people that never see the sunrise and never have a proper circadian rhythm, like shift workers, we know they have more cancer, that they die sooner, that they're more depressed, they commit more suicide, just on and on and on. So we know these things from studies. We know from these scientists that have worked out the whole mechanism of the circadian rhythm, how it controls. And I always talk about the 100,000 chemical reactions that happen in your cell every second. And that we have 37 trillion cells. Mind-boggling number of reactions. Well, the circadian system is one of the major controllers of that. And science again shows in animals, plants, us, that this is set every day. The primary stimulus is that sunrise. Now, if your sunrise is an artificial light instead, you still get a stimulus, it still has an effect, but it's an abnormal effect. So again, we have a disease explosion, and we know from these epidemiologic studies that this disease explosion affects night shift workers more than people that are active during the day. Now, there are animals that are nocturnal, like bats and mice. So there are animals that have made adaptations to where their primary time to stimulate the circadian rhythm, although it's still stimulated by light, but they're active during the night. Humans are active during the day, like most birds. During the night, they're not flying around. They're in their little nest or on their tree limb, sleeping. So there's some animals that sleep during the day and some animals that are active during the day. And humans are definitely designed to be active during the day because, as I told you about the ancient humans, they couldn't see. So they're not going to do a whole lot of stuff at night. Maybe they would when the full moon came, but otherwise they can't see well enough. They don't have flashlights. So they just can't be active at night. They can't hunt at night. They can't gather food because they can't see. So unfortunately, now that we have artificial light, we can change that. We can say, hey, no, I don't want to be inactive during the night. I want to, live in the city center where it's lit up just like daytime. There is a cost to that. But even if you live in that city center, if you have the first light that you see, the sun, going in your retina. So it needs to go in your retina without glasses. My glasses are always off when I'm having that first morning light. That morning light will not harm your eyes if it's right on the horizon, because there's no ultraviolet light in that. And it's the blue light that sets our circadian rhythm. Now, the blue light and the sunlight, so the whole visible spectrum is in that first morning light, the red and the blue and the green and the yellow. All those colors are there. And the blue light has the most power, so it tends to be the one that sets our rhythm. So you see companies making artificial blue lights to help your depression and to help get you going in the morning. But when you have an artificial blue light, you don't have the red light. So the sun is the perfect light we should be looking at, because it has a balance of red and blue. The red regenerates, the blue is high power and can tend to damage things. So it sets that master clock. We also have clocks in every organ and every tissue in our body. Those clocks down below, it's like a satellite that has GPS. It needs to run slightly faster than our clocks here. Otherwise, you can't tell where you are when you're looking at your map on your GPS. You're going to be off. So we're going to be off if we don't have a faster clock with the master clock. So the clock in our liver needs to go slightly slower than the clock here in order to be in sync, to do the things that life does, the miracle things that life does. So it's complex. It's hugely complex. You can dive deeper and deeper and deeper down scientific rabbit holes with this. And that's not, what we want to do today. We just want to tell you that this is important. This isn't like something that is conjecture. This was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2017 because over the previous 20 years, they have worked this out, and there's no doubt about it. That's when you win the Nobel Prize, when you've made a discovery that just revolutionizes medicine. Trouble is, your doctor doesn't even know this stuff. 99.9% probability, doesn't know the Nobel Prize was awarded, doesn't know that the key thing to keep you healthy is setting your circadian rhythm. And it's done every single day. So you have a chance to make a new start every single day. And that's why we don't miss it. And that's why we insist that our clients don't miss it. Now, our health coaching clients, does every single person do it? No. Does every person, do we do it every single day? I do, but, I might miss a day here and there, but I missed 50 years of sunrises. So I got a lot of catching up to do, try to, bring it into better balance of how many I missed, because people don't know how important this is. And if you're a night owl, I say you got to change that. If you're my health coaching client and or you're my mother or you're my aunt, and you tell me, oh, I was born to be a night owl. I need to, I need to watch my late night television show or whatever. I would say you need to change, because we were built a certain way. Now, it's maybe possible that genetically somebody truly is a night owl and does better, but I don't believe that. But, maybe it's possible. But this mechanism, still, you need to do this. You need to set your master clock, and you have to do it with the sun to get the full effect.
So I want to talk about some steps that you should take to make sure that this is doable for you and easier to incorporate into your life. So with our coaching clients, what we normally recommend is, number one, get in the habit of identifying when sunrise is. It obviously changes throughout the year, so you can just ask your phone or look it up on Google, when's sunrise. Then you're going to want to set your alarm. I personally do 30 minutes before sunrise, because I have to travel a little bit to get to a good vantage point, which is the important step number two. Find a place where you can see the sunrise clearly without any obstruction. You don't want to be looking through your car window or through contact lenses or sunglasses or prescription glasses like my dad has on right now, you want to make sure that you're exposing your eyes directly to the light. For me, I can look directly at the sun. It doesn't hurt my eyes, but I've been doing this for a really long time. And it's the same with my dad. So if it hurts your eyes, you don't need to look directly at the sun. Also, if it's not too cold, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can expose more skin to the sun too. So we go shirtless. That's another option. And you get that full light therapy on your skin too, which we touched on in a different video, which I'll put a link below about sun exposure. But getting that sun on your skin helps with the UV light later in the day. So that's really important. Another part of the morning ritual is getting grounded. So if you can find a place where you can actually go barefoot, now you're getting kind of a double whammy. You get all of the benefits of setting your circadian rhythm plus the free energy from grounding, going barefoot. So find a spot where you can comfortably go barefoot. If it's too cold out to go barefoot, you can always do the grounding straps. We've mentioned those in previous videos as well. So get grounded, make sure that you have a place already figured out where you can see the sunrise, make sure you know when the sunrise is, and just go try it. You know, you don't need to worry about making this an everyday thing. Just go try it once and see how you feel. Chances are you'll want to incorporate this, and this will really become a time for yourself. We incorporate meditation into this after we viewed the sunrise. We'll do a meditation. So that's another really cool thing that you can do. Some people like to exercise after doing this. Whatever works to kind of get you going on the right foot into your day is important. Make this your own. Some other optional things is a gratitude journal. Write down 10 things you're grateful for. Another cool little trick to the gratitude journal is if you want something and you're trying to create that within your reality, write the thing you want as if you already have it and say, you know, I'm grateful for being able to help X number of people or whatever your goal is. That's a pretty cool way of kind of positioning yourself there too, and doing it in more of a visualization format. So these are different things that we do every single day, you know, not without fail. We do miss some days, but we're pretty good about it because when you do this first, your day just seems to go much better. You're much more in the flow. You're much more energetic. You're much happier. Is there anything you want to add to the morning routine?
Well, I can sort of describe what I do. So I wake up automatically. I haven't used an alarm clock in 10 years because my body just is so in tune with the circadian rhythm that automatically I just tell myself, you know, even if I have to get up 2 hours before daylight, I just tell myself when I go to bed, wake up 2 hours before the sun comes up, and I can do it like clockwork. Pun intended there. But what I do is, like Howard mentioned, is know what time that sunrise is. Then I would be looking toward the horizon about 5 minutes before sunrise so that you catch the sunrise. Now, even if there's an obstruction, there's a building in the way, there's a mountain in the way, a tree in the way, if you face the east, you'll still get enough light to set your circadian rhythm. You don't have to see the sun. So if it's cloudy and you know the sun is there, but you cannot see it, even begin to see it because there's a thick layer of clouds, you still get some of the light and it still sets your circadian rhythm, maybe not as strongly. So I always face the east at sunrise. So the other thing that we commonly get asked is how long? You know, how long do I need? Well, that depends. Okay, if you're young and completely healthy, you might only need 3 minutes. Get 3 minutes, set your circadian rhythm, and then we talk about in other videos how you want to get UV light, which comes out later in the day. So you would go back out 3 more minutes, 3 more minutes. So if you have a busy life and you're indoors all the time and you're totally healthy, if you have a disease, like I had huge health issues to overcome, and most of our health coaching clients have huge health issues to overcome, the more the better. If you can take a walk on the beach at sunrise and stay out in the sun for an hour until the UVA starts to come through, and you let your eyes take in the transition from no UVA to UVA, that's the powerful disease reversal, kind of track you need to take. So it's very individual. If you're healthy, it doesn't take long to set your circadian rhythm. It doesn't take long to get dopamine activated inside your retina, to get melatonin activated inside your retina, to get serotonin activated inside your retina. Now, there's just one more thing I want to mention that's really important that was discovered a long time ago, but has been ignored by physicians, is that same light, as it enters into your eye, it stimulates your pituitary gland to release the hormones that, the hormone regulators that release your hormones. So your hormones, the sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, there's the gonadotropin releasing hormones that are made in the pituitary gland, and they cause, say, your testicles to produce testosterone. That's activated by that same light. So if you miss out on that light, you miss out on the optimal time for your hormones to peak for that day. And that ain't good. So you see, we're setting our circadian rhythm, which is critically important for your good optimal health and longevity. And we're stimulating the production and release of your hormones. So as I say, the studies that show that light causes us to release the hormones is old. But does your endocrinologist tell you, oh, well, you need to see the sunrise is the key thing for you if you want to, have your hormones acting at the proper timing that they were designed to act at. So you see why this, for us, is non-negotiable for our health coaching clients and for our own lives. We're talking about two key things, and then it might do other things. We talked about melanin possibly being a huge energy source. We have a lot of melanin. They call this the retinal pigmented epithelium. Retinal pigmented epithelium. Pigmented is melanin. Melanin.
Oh, it looks like you cut out for a second there. You back?
Yes, I'm back.
So can you finish your thought on the pigment within the retina?
Yeah, so the retinal pigmented epithelium, well, the pigment is melanin, and we talked about how melanin is does the same thing that chlorophyll in plants. So chlorophyll in plants is a source of the food web for the entire planet. So the sun is important for all life on Earth. So we should respect it. We should acknowledge it every day when it comes up. But that sunlight, when it is absorbed by melanin, it gives melanin the ability to split water just like a plant does. Now, how much we actually use that right now isn't well known, and it's being studied. So we'll see. We'll see if melanin is a big source of energy for us. It could be, but it's interesting that our retina, which is inside of us, is loaded with melanin. The little place on your retina when that light comes through the pupil, the light from the sun or any of your artificial light, which isn't natural, but the natural sun, we want to get it in our eye. So we make this non-negotiable for our own lives. And then you have to decide. You have to decide, does this sound legitimate? I would tune into your intuition. That's a good way for a lot of these things where, science isn't going to prove anything, absolutely, but there's a lot of evidence. And then we look at, wow, this looks like it's how nature rolls. So when we see those two things combined, and we see that ancient civilizations have always done this, we go, bingo, this sounds like something maybe we should be doing. And then when you do it in your life and you get addicted to it in a positive way, in that you can't miss it. Like you go out drinking, you still get up at sunrise, you still go out with your hangover and get blessed by the sun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want for you guys, is to take this information and turn it into an experience. Go give it a try, because talk is cheap. Go out and do it and you'll notice the benefit for yourself. That's really what we want for you. And if it's something that you do get excited about and do get addicted to, like we have, then great. This is a great thing to get addicted to. So we appreciate you tuning in. If you want to go check out some of our other videos, we have a lot of free content. And remember, we are committed to giving you this information for free, because this isn't information that should just be exclusive to our paid coaching clients. This should be for everyone. So go implement this stuff, share this with someone you love, and we appreciate you watching. Thanks for the time, Dad.
Okay, thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.